welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am talking about my reread of the Pretty Little Liars series. Now, admittedly, this series does have 13 books, I think, and I only read 8 of them, but that is because the What Happened to A story got resolved in book 8, and I had no interest in continuing the series on after that, so my bad, that is what happened. So these books are by Sarah Shepard. I believe they came out around 2007, 2008. I read them in middle school and high school prior to the show coming out. The show came out in 2010. I was already, I think, a sophomore or junior in high school already, and I think I watched maybe the first couple of episodes and then proceeded to not watch the show. So I have no reference of the show versus the book other than my current watching of the show because I have ran out of books to read. So Pretty Little Liars follows 4 girls: Aria, Hannah, Emily, and Allie. Why does it feel like I'm forgetting somebody? I don't know. Maybe that is all of them. I feel like that's incorrect. Maybe it is. Anyway. Spencer. Spencer's the one I'm forgetting because she's boring. Spencer and Allie. At one slumber party night, Allie ran out of the barn that they were in and is missing, and so has been missing for quite some time. In the show, it seems like it's only been a year. In the books, I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but I'm not 100% sure. The girls have their own secrets, though, to keep, and only Allie knew of those secrets, supposedly, and they are all of a sudden receiving texts about those secrets from somebody signed A, which leads them to think that Allie is still alive. However, they, in I think the first or second book, find Allie's body, which would really mess up that concept. Is there some languaging in these books that is not great? Yes. Does this book also talk about conversion therapy at one point as a plot point? Yes, absolutely. Does this book also misuse mental illness in a horrible way? Yes, correct. All of the above. This is if Gossip Girl was a thriller. This Pretty Little Liars is literally just if you took the concept of Gossip Girl and made it a murder mystery. And that's pretty much it. I enjoyed these books though. Most of them got 4 stars. I think I gave the last book 8 5 stars, and it's because the ending was so absolutely outrageous. Like, I was like, this is the most absurd thing that I've ever read in my entire life. 5 stars. Enjoyed the ride. Absolute absurdity, and I enjoyed the ride. I don't normally rate something absolutely insane like that. I don't normally rate them 5 stars, but this was an exception because I enjoyed the ride. These books are very short, quick and sweet, very enjoyable. I think that they have way too many religious undertones, and I would not recommend them to a teenager to read upon first reading unless they have the wherewithal to understand the parts of those books that are not that are problematic and maybe not things that we should embody and characteristics that we should embody, and also in the hopes that the teenager has some kind of understanding of the way the legal system works, because none of that is how the legal system works. So, I don't recommend it to teenagers. That is something that I try to mention when I'm talking about my rereads from childhood. Would I recommend this to the age group that this is meant for? No, I would not. Unless they're really into trashy thrillers, then maybe. If they're like, hee Throwback Thursday, and want to like relive their mother's high school era, if my kids are like, Throwback Thursday, give me a book you read in high school that's a thriller and also young adult, but a lot like Gossip Girl, I would be confused about where they got that very specific recommendation sentence from, but this is the book I would recommend. Otherwise, I would not recommend this book to children or to anyone. No, really not to anyone. I wouldn't even recommend it to adults now. I would recommend you reread it if you read them in high school. I would also recommend reading it if you watched the show, because a lot of people either watched the show or read the book, but very rarely both. I am currently watching the show, as I mentioned, and it loosely follows the book, but it's just speeding through the first 8 books, so I'm really not sure what these other 3 seasons are about, or other 2 seasons are going to be about. Also, isn't there a spinoff? Anyway, Sarah Shepard learned she could make money with the formula and then ran with it, and did she take it too far? 100%. Do they always? Yes, absolutely, they always take it too far. I am just grateful that Suzanne Collins did not do that, because she tried a money grab. She did, with the serpents and whatever it is, and failed. But again, I enjoyed the books. So it's kind of hard because it's like, no, I don't recommend them. They're awful. They're bad. They're outrageous. But I enjoyed them greatly. Why? Because I love trash books. I adore trash books. That at their core is not like problematic behavior, well, I guess Gossip Girl at its core is just really god-awful trashy, but like it's the same reason that I really enjoy reality TV, knowing that one, a lot of it is set up, and two, it is just completely out there and these people are living a life that normal people don't live. I enjoy the extravagance, the outrageousness of it, and that's how Pretty Little Liars feels, but more on our level. So like Gossip Girl was like, this is how the upper elite lives. I am not that. So yeah. Also, I'm watching the show, and why do all of these teenagers dress like teachers? I know I did when I was in middle school for like a hot minute, and then when I became a high schooler with a job who could buy your own clothes, I did not look like a teacher anymore. I looked like a scene kid. Why did these girls look like they look like TAs training to be the most boring teacher you've ever had? I don't get it. I don't also miss those big sunglasses. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you grew up in 2010, you know the ones I'm talking about. These books also were interesting from a reread point of view because they used so much. They didn't like reference really specific things in pop culture or anything, but they were very in the era that I grew up in, and so it was interesting to kind of be like, wow, this is very different than the young adult books that I'm reading now. Like just the way technology works, the way information spreading works, it's all very different. See, if we got a text message nowadays from a random number, we would assume it was a scammer, and usually be able to reverse look up the number and at least see, you know, watch a couple episodes of Catfish, you know how to figure out what that number is from. You know, this was just a giant series of books about catfishing. It was just catfishing the whole time, except like the twist at the end. So I'm gonna talk about the last book, who A is, what happened to A, that kind of thing. I'm gonna talk about that really quickly. So spoilers, just absolute fucking spoilers, but if you have no intention of reading these books or rereading these books, I'm gonna tell you about how this all ended because it just continues to blow my mind at the audacity. So if you don't know anything about these series, A disappears, whatever, they find her body, they're like, oh heck, well obviously she's dead, so who killed her? Who did it? And then they're like this random guy who's a construction worker and he had photos of the girls and stuff, and then they're like, oh, he did it. But it wasn't him. This whole time it wasn't him. It turns out that A had a twin sister who had to live in a psychiatric ward her whole life. Live in the psychiatric ward. And she comes back every once in a while to visit the family because sure, that makes sense. And one year, the year that Allie becomes friends with all of Allie, whatever her name is, becomes friends with all of the other girls, she tricks the parents into sending actual Allison away, and Courtney, the twin's name is Courtney, stays behind. So she body swaps with her. And so then, because the girls talk about how all of a sudden Allison, who's actually an absolute bully, she is a bitch, just an absolute bitch, she's so mean and a bully to so many people. The year that she just all of a sudden drops all of her friends and becomes friends with our foursome, it wasn't her, it wasn't Allison, because she couldn't be friends with Allison's friends because she didn't know any of the inside secrets, so she had to make all new friends, right? That makes sense. And then, I feel like I'm talking about like that gif of, or like that photo of the guy from It's Always Sunny where he's like, and then this happened, that's what I feel like. So then, they find Allison's body. Courtney's been missing. Where did Courtney go? It's because Courtney killed Allison. Because Allison came back and was like, bitch, I want my life back. And Courtney's like, absolutely the fuck not. I will not be returning to the psychiatric ward. And so then she kills Allison and switches their rings because they had initial rings, but they were identical twins. So it was the only way you could tell them apart. Switched their rings, and then as Courtney went back to the psychiatric unit. And then Courtney comes back and is like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm so sad about Allison's body being found or whatever. I'm here to start school though and be BFFs with all of you because I just want to feel closer to my sister. Whatever. And then they find out that the whole time Allison wasn't Allison until it was Allison's body, and then it was Allison's body. And their whole friend was not with Allison, it was with Courtney. It was a whole thing. And everybody's like personal drama. I'm very confused about the student-teacher relationships trope that had young adults by the chokehold growing up. I'm confused about that. Why? What for? What's it about? Because I remember reading the Pretty Little Liars books, and even then being like, that is a grown-ass man. I think it's because I had a hot English teacher at the time. No, in high school I had a hot English teacher. And I remember thinking like, never. That is a grown-ass adult man. I can't even drive without another person in the car. He could be the other person that I would have to have in the car with me. I could ambiguously pass for 12 and 16, depending on the day. His beard grows out by 5 p.m. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And the TV show does not do anything to help with that by making them look the same age in the TV show. I noticed that and I was like, that is unacceptable. That is not okay. Absolutely the fuck not. So that was one relationship that I'm still very confused about. I'm very confused about the student-teacher relationship thing. Also, Aria, same one in the relationship with her teacher. Her dad cheated on her mom with his student, and she's mad at him for it and thinks it's inappropriate. Is it because he's married? Like, is that the only reason? Explain this to me. Riddle me this. I don't understand. Anyway, so that's my reread of those books. My camera battery is about to die though, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Next month, I will be reading a series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I'm incredibly excited about this, and I do actually have the physical book, so it's even more exciting for me. They're snack-sized audiobooks as well, so all good. I'm gonna go though. There's so much more I could say about the Pretty Little Liars books, but I think it would be so all over the place that it is just perhaps not worth the time. It was bonkers. The whole thing was just bonkers. You would not be able to follow what happened unless you read them in the way that I did, which was all at once. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, let me know in the comments down below how I can do better. Have you watched the show? Have you read the books? What are your thoughts? Do you also think that the way that was resolved was absolutely bonkers? I don't know how it's resolved in the show. I'm watching it right now, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I will see you again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week. Don't forget to drink your water, take your meds, do something today to take care of yourself. Okay, thanks, bye.